Hello. For my reporter story today, I'm going to talk about what you need to do to get a job in production at a television news station or as a reporter or multimedia journalist, editor, photographer. You essentially need to make what's called a resume reel. And that will be a mixture of your different pieces of work. For a basic reporter reel, you would need clips of you on camera doing stand-ups and showing that you can walk and talk and be comfortable on camera. And then you will also need to include some packages, short stories. Usually around 3 is a great number because you can put a range, maybe something more serious, something in the middle, and then something playful and fun. And then maybe a little bit of anchoring at the end. So as you put together stories, work on stories, if this is something that you want to do, even if you want to be a photographer, you would still show a range of your work. You want to start saving your work. And as you go through different classes, save everything on a hard drive, save it in 2 places so that you have a range and you have a mixture to work with when you put together this reel when you're ready to get a job. So you would have a very structured reel that would start out with a montage in the beginning. It could be a bunch of stand-ups of you talking on camera about different stories that you're doing. If you're a photographer, maybe it's a grouping of some beautiful shots in that montage. And then you'll have those stories, a few stories in the middle. And so again, you want to save all of your work so you have something to choose from when you put together the reel. And then you would look at different jobs that are available. There are all sorts of websites that you can go on to look at the different jobs. For myself, I started at a very small market. TV stations are broken down into markets, and what that means is you've got, I don't know, it's like around 220 markets. It's based on television watching households, but really I think it's easier to think about it kind of as population. So for instance, New York is market number 1, and then 220 is like this tiny, tiny town, maybe in Alaska. So it's common for people to start in a small market. Even if you're going into sports, weather, you get your experience there and then you work your way up. So I started in Idaho, which at the time was market 168 in Idaho Falls. I moved up to Chico, market 130-ish. And then I moved up a pretty good jump to Sacramento, market 19. Worked there for a few years, and then I jumped up to market 6, which is San Francisco, and worked there for a few years as well. So again, you just want to be thinking about putting that reel together so that you can get a job. You also have to do the standard resume that's written and then also a cover letter. But what news directors are really looking at for, again, reporters, photographers, a sports reporter, even a weather person is how are they in their performance? What's their writing like? How do they construct stories? And oftentimes the news director is going to make a decision on whether they want to hire you in the first 10 seconds. I know that's very unfortunate, but they'll get a feeling about you based on what they see in that resume reel quite quickly. And so that's why I encourage students to make sure that it is your best work. That first stand-up that comes up of your face and whatever you're doing, it needs to be dynamic. Your grammar has to be perfect. Your words perfect. You have a microphone on. They can hear you. You look great. You look the best you've ever looked. So those stand-ups and that montage has to be amazing. So if you need to go out and reshoot 50 million extra stand-ups until you get it right with different outfits, doing different stories, then do it. Because that's when you're going to knock their socks off, and that's when you need to do that and make that impression. So take that really, really seriously. I also tell students, don't have that montage be, if it's a reporter reel, even sports, whatever, entertainment, weather, don't have 50 million different hairstyles. My hairstyles throughout college changed. It went from really short to a little longer, back to short. And if they see that, all these different hairstyles, they're going to wonder, who am I going to get? So you want to put your most recent look as the look uniform throughout so they know exactly what you're going to look like and be like when you walk through the door. So that's some of my advice. Think about it now. save your work so you have something to choose from, and have fun with it.